So, I got a question for you. What opens with the cops pulling a gun on Reggie, and what closes with a Reg Sam kiss interrupted by a Gabe call? If you guess Dear White People, Netflix, Chapter 6, Season 1, Episode 6, then you're correct. And I just have some thoughts that I wrote down while I was enjoying the episode. I'm still enjoying the show. And I'm interested to get finished with this so I can watch other people's reviews and thoughts and perspective and take. Because it seems like there's, some stuff going out there. So I want to know what you think. What you think? You enjoying it? You like it? Somebody said, I think I read someplace or saw someplace where somebody said that they felt that it was directed toward white people. I'm not having that experience of it, but I'm interested just to hear, kind of more of people's experience of it. Because I think we do tend to talk to the dominant culture, culture. We do tend to talk to the people who are in charge, the bosses, the boss people, boss man. The boss man. Okay, so let me jump in. Let me jump into the review. Not scene first, but my first note. Okay, so this is the aftermath of Reggie's assault by the police. Actually, not the police, but campus security. I was wondering, I'm like, is it the police or campus security? It was campus security, and they're armed. And I said this the last time. That one of these big nationwide cases that we heard of, the man in the car who had I can't remember, he had alcohol in the car. They were asking for his ID or something, and they felt that this was an infringement worthy of execution on the street. I think the guy was trying to drive away and the man shot him or something. Okay. It was Sam outside of Reggie's door at the end of the last episode. I'm like, who is that outside of his door? But, and we know in this episode, we see it from her perspective, but at the end of the last episode, we saw it from his perspective. So we know that he is on the other side of the door. He can hear her. He's listening, but he doesn't respond to her, and he's crying on the floor. Coco, she says there were two quotes in the book that had to do with respectability politics to me, or to my ear. And then also just thinking, I think that I heard today that Mr. Bill Cosby, Dr. Cosby, is going to court. They're picking his jury. Something is going on. And I didn't even realize, I thought it was over. But we need to manage our blackness. We need to manage our blackness. And then the dean said about Troy, his son, the black dean said about Troy, his black son, that Troy would never find himself in this situation because I raised him. And I think, with Bill Cosby, I was thinking about this, pull your pants up, act respectable. And I don't think there's anything wrong with pulling your pants up or acting respectable or anything like that. But I think that if your pants are down, or if Troy's dad didn't raise you, or if you don't know how to manage your blackness, I still don't think, that means that you need to be killed. I mean, good Lord. Okay, so that was one thing. And then a lot of folks are trying to support Reggie. I really like that. I really liked, I really like the representation of the community on campus. Or on this campus. I think that it's beautiful. 6 of the people who are trying to support Reggie show up at the meeting. They offer to go to this meeting that he's having with the dean, but they show up and Mr. Reggie Green is not there. And then someone, I can't remember who it was, but they are talking about their research. I think that this is Sam's boyfriend's friend is talking about being a public victim and how there's no time to grieve, and how Reggie being a public victim, it puts him in a different situation from maybe me or you who's just observing from the outside in. So it made me kind of curious, like this public victimhood situation, what does that mean? And I think also that as black folks, we're kind of public victims, especially when you look at these videos being shown on TV, on YouTube, on the internet again and again and again, when you look at postcards being sent around with the lynching of people, like this public victimhood. I just thought it was a really interesting concept. It made me want to do a little bit more research on it. Then somebody was, at the poetry reading, the woman was doing an interpretive dance or poetry or whatever. And Sam is like, she 12 minutes a slave. I don't know. I thought that was funny. is a slave. Okay. Them asking Reggie for his ID, it's like if you watch Underground, they ask where are your papers all the time. But you know, the last scene that's fresh on my head is Daniel walking through the streets of the town looking for somebody to try to, you know, help him and his family get their freedom. They're like, where are your papers? Oh, I work at the college. You know, you got to show papers. You got to show ID. You a black man on this campus. Where's your ID? Where's your papers, nigga? You know, where are your papers? And again, you know, whether he's a student at the university or not, you know, pulling a gun on him and the threat of, you know, being murdered, you know, killed, you know, whether you had the papers or not, whether you're a student or not, that is not, should not be a crime that's punishable by execution without trial. I mean, and even with the trial, what was the crime? That door walkthrough. Oh, that scene. So this is like at the end of the episode when they're outside of Reggie's door. Reggie and Sam are outside of Reggie's door, and then Reggie goes through the door, and then Sam is kind of like on the other side of the door, and then she ends up moving through the door. But just the way that it was shot, the timing of it, the acting, everything, I just thought it was beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. I loved it. It was a powerful moment. And just not powerful like, oh my God, it's so deep, but it was like, it was so real, and it just encapsulated a lot for me. So that's what I got. Dear White People, season 1, Netflix, episode 6. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. I'm Angela. The channel is Be Fabulous You, and I want you to do that today. Be you, be fabulous you. Bye.